In the bustling streets of Tokyo, where neon lights flicker above endless office towers, a young man was quietly plotting a revolution in Japanese telecom. His name, Yasumitsu Shigeta. From humble beginnings, Shigeta would rise to dizzying heights, only to tumble spectacularly before engineering one of the most remarkable turnarounds in modern Japanese business history. This is the story of ambition, audacity, failure, and redemption, the life of Yasumitsu Shigeta. Early life and the making of a visionary. Yasumitsu Shigeta was born in Tokyo in 1965, a time when Japan was emerging as an economic powerhouse. The post-war boom had transformed the city into a sprawling metropolis of opportunity, but also fierce competition. From a young age, Shigeta exhibited a restless intellect and an impatience with convention. Unlike many of his peers who followed the expected path of rigorous schooling and corporate apprenticeships, he gravitated toward experimentation, entrepreneurship, and practical learning. He briefly explored vocational training in acupuncture and later enrolled in Nihon University's economics department. Yet, the rigidity of classroom life never suited him. He dropped out before completing his degree, convinced that the lessons of business could not be confined to textbooks. This bold decision would set the stage for a career defined by risk, innovation, and relentless drive. By age 22, Shigeta had resolved to chart his own course. The Japanese telecommunications industry, once tightly controlled, was beginning to deregulate. Competition was opening doors for new entrants. Seizing the opportunity, he co-founded Hikari Tsushin in February 1988. The name itself, meaning light communications, symbolized Shigeta's vision to illuminate the possibilities of a connected Japan. Starting with almost no capital, Shigeta rented a modest office in downtown Tokyo and began hiring young, energetic recruits. He had an eye for talent, seeking individuals who were not just eager but hungry, willing to work tirelessly on commission. Early sales tactics were straightforward but brutal. Door-to-door pitches for long-distance phone contracts, small retail kiosks, and direct engagement with customers. Shigeta himself led by example, often joining the sales teams, observing and refining methods in real time. His mantra was simple: aggressive sales win markets. This foundational period demonstrated several core business strategies that would define Shigeta's career. First, he understood the power of human capital, hiring young, motivated individuals, training them intensively, and incentivizing performance with commissions. Second, he grasped market timing, entering a deregulated industry early before competitors could establish dominance. And third, he emphasized scalable operations, rapidly opening small satellite offices that could replicate the sales model nationwide. By the early 1990s, Hikari Tsushin was expanding at an unprecedented pace. Shigeta had pivoted from simply selling long-distance contracts to mobile phones, anticipating the coming surge in cellular communications. The company opened hundreds of retail outlets and employed thousands of sales representatives, creating a network that spanned Japan. In 1996, Shigeta achieved his first major milestone, taking Hikari Tsushin public on the over-the-counter market. At just 31 years old, he became Japan's youngest founder to take a company public, a feat that attracted national media attention. Business magazines heralded him as a visionary, a symbol of the new economy. Forbes even included him in its list of the 200 richest people in the world, estimating his net worth at around $25 billion at the peak. By 1999, Hikari Tsushin's success culminated in a listing on the Tokyo Stock Exchange's first section. Shigeta, at 34, became the youngest person ever to lead such an IPO in Japan. Shares soared, quadrupling in price within months. By February 2000, a single share fetched approximately $241,000, placing the company's market value alongside giants like Toyota and Sony. For a brief moment, Shigeta stood atop the business world, lauded as the embodiment of Japan's new economic optimism. But fortune can be fickle. At the height of Hikari Tsushin's fame, cracks began to appear. Investigations revealed that the company's sales force had been booking phantom cell phone contracts to claim carrier incentives. A projected $6 billion profit turned into a staggering $13 billion loss almost overnight. The Tokyo Stock Exchange reacted violently. Within weeks, the stock plummeted by roughly 99%. The collapse was dramatic, almost cinematic. At an emergency shareholder meeting, Shigeta faced a barrage of anger. One shareholder shouted, "You have fallen from heaven to hell in just half a year." Others accused him of misleading investors and betraying public trust. Media coverage was relentless, painting Shigeta as the poster child of Japan's economic excesses. Behind the public spectacle, the company teetered on the brink of bankruptcy. Shigeta made swift, painful decisions, slashing staff, freezing investments, and selling non-core assets. His crisis management skills were tested as never before. He negotiated with creditors, stabilized key revenue streams, and sought to rebuild trust with wary investors. Rather than abandoning the company, Shigeta embarked on a meticulous rebuilding process. The strategy was multifaceted. Operational focus. He concentrated on core profitable services, particularly mobile and office equipment sales, cutting speculative ventures. Leadership restructuring. In 2003, Hideaki Wada was appointed president and CEO, while Shigeta remained chairman, introducing a dual leadership model that balanced vision with operational oversight. Capital discipline. Shigeta emphasized careful allocation of funds, investing only in areas that offered measurable returns. Brand rehabilitation. Transparency and ethical accounting practices were enforced to restore investor confidence. Gradually, these measures bore fruit. By 2004, Hikari Tsushin had returned to profitability. While the company never fully reclaimed its peak valuation, it had survived one of the most spectacular collapses in Japanese corporate history. This period solidified Shigeta's reputation as a resilient strategist, capable of learning from failure and adapting to harsh realities. Diversification, building a conglomerate. Post-recovery, Shigeta transformed Hikari Tsushin into a diversified conglomerate. No longer merely a telecom company, it expanded into multiple sectors: utilities, electricity and gas contracts for homes and businesses, consumer services, bottled water delivery and vending operations, financial services, insurance, loans and credit services, office equipment, copiers, printers, and IT solutions. Shigeta's business strategy emphasized recurring revenue streams and cross-selling opportunities. For instance, a client subscribing to electricity might also be offered water delivery and mobile services. This model stabilized cash flow and mitigated risks from market fluctuations in any single sector. He also implemented modern corporate governance structures. Audit and supervisory committees ensured compliance with regulations, while compensation and investment committees aligned incentives with long-term growth. Shigeta's focus shifted from short-term speculation to sustainable wealth creation, echoing the philosophy of disciplined compounders like Berkshire Hathaway. Legacy and philanthropy, quiet impact today. Shigeta's net worth places him among Japan's richest, yet his public profile remains understated. Unlike some flamboyant magnates, he rarely seeks the limelight. Instead, his influence is seen in the corporate world through Hikari Tsushin's innovative sales culture, disciplined capital management, and diversified business model. Philanthropy has been similarly understated. The Shigeta Education Foundation provides scholarships to Japanese students pursuing higher education abroad or medical degrees. Hikari Tsushin also engages in community initiatives, donating used materials, supporting local welfare projects, and funding health programs. These acts reflect a deliberate, low-profile approach to social responsibility, consistent with Shigeta's broader business philosophy: impactful but not flashy. Lessons from a life of risk, resilience, and reinvention. Yasumitsu Shigeta's story is a masterclass in business strategy and personal resilience. Visionary timing, entering deregulated telecom markets early and capitalizing on emerging trends. Recruitment and incentives, building scalable sales networks by identifying, training, and motivating talent. Risk and recovery, taking bold risks, facing catastrophic failure, and systematically rebuilding. Diversification and governance, evolving a single product business into a multi-sector conglomerate with disciplined management. Low-key philanthropy, leveraging personal and corporate wealth for social good without seeking attention. From a college dropout with a dream to a dot-com celebrity, through a near-bankrupt collapse and finally to a diversified billionaire, Shigeta's life embodies the highs and lows of entrepreneurship. His journey is as much about human resilience as it is about market strategy. A reminder that true leadership combines vision, courage, and the ability to adapt when the world turns against you. Yasumitsu Shigeta may not dominate the headlines today, but his influence resonates in the corridors of Japanese business and in the countless entrepreneurs inspired by his story. From the streets of Tokyo to the heights of global billionaire lists, he has proven that ambition, ingenuity, and an unwavering will can turn even catastrophic failure into enduring success.